All right, welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for All Ohio Students, sponsored by the Ohio Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. I am Javon Calhoun. I'm a college specialist with Cincinnati Public Schools and a OACAC member who is here facilitating. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. So you might notice that your camera and microphone are off, so no panelists can see or hear you. However, you can use the Q&A button that's located on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This presentation is also being recorded and will be available within a week of today on the website that is OACAC.org. And just a reminder, this is one of many different sessions that's going to be happening throughout the week and next week as well. So be sure to check the full schedule at that same site, OACAC.org. And without further ado, I will turn it over to our presenters from Grace College.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kiana, and I am an admissions counselor here at Grace College. And we're going to be talking about, of course, the Grace College. And Pam, if you want to introduce yourself as well, then I'll get started.
Hi, my name is Pam Buca, and I am also from Grace College, but a separate location in Akron, Ohio. So we're a satellite location.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and go through a presentation. But as mentioned earlier, please feel free to put any questions you have. And also my contact information will be at the end. So if you think of questions later on, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help out. Okay. So I have a PowerPoint here that I'm going to share. If it loads, there we go. All right, Pam, can you give a thumbs up if you see the Grace College? Perfect. So starting out, I'm gonna just put my About Me section here. Why is this not going? There we go. All right. So as I mentioned, am Kiana, and I graduated from Grace back in 2018. I got my bachelor's degree here through Grace in marketing. Then I came back to Grace and got my master's of business administration as well. I've been working in admissions since graduating in 2018. I loved my time at Grace. It was truly a wonderful experience. So I love that I get to share my experience with prospective students as well, and hopefully they get to share that same experience. I'm originally from a small town, Middlebury, Indiana. It's about an hour north of Grace. Not a whole lot of people have heard of it, but I wasn't too far, but I loved the community that Grace was a part of. So I have the privilege of covering Ohio students as well as transfer students. So for our Ohio students, you guys will most likely be working with me or Pam. So I'm glad we are both able to join you guys here today. So I'm going to touch on some majors first. Here is a very brief list of some of the majors that we offer here in Winona Lake, Indiana. So as you can see, we offer a handful of different ones. These are the main broad stroke type degrees, but then within each of these bullet points, of course, we offer many different more focused degrees as well. So as I mentioned earlier, I was a business major, but I was specifically a marketing degree at Grace. We have over 90 different majors and minors that our students can choose from. So lots of great opportunities for our students to find what they're passionate about and be able to study here at Grace. Campus life is truly wonderful. So I'm going to mention some unique things that make Grace stand out in comparison to some other private Christian schools. So one of those is our chapel experiences. So chapel is wonderful. We have chapel 3 times a week here at Grace. We have a Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's only about an hour long, but it's a wonderful time for all of campus to come together and really learn and grow. And it's not a whole lot of times that a whole college can come together at once, besides really graduation. So it's a unique opportunity, as I mentioned, for all of our students to come together that frequently and be able to dig in scripture or just learn ways to serve the community. So it's not always a deep biblical sermon that we'll go through. Some days it's more ways to serve your community or building your resume and things like that. Another unique thing is our growth groups. Growth groups are a ton of fun. So those happen Wednesday evenings for our freshmen. They're kind of like a small group time. So students are in groups of about 5 to 6 other freshmen. And then you have your growth group leader who also lives on the hall with you. And it's truly just a time to connect, build community, get to know these people you're now living with that you didn't know beforehand. And you do have a general Bible study that you guys will cover over the duration of the school year. And like I said, that's a wonderful time for students. We have a lot of different clubs and serve groups on campus. So Serve is a huge one. It's literally called Serve. It's just a group for students to be able to find opportunities to be able to serve in the Winona Lake community on campus and then way beyond that as well. So that is a wonderful opportunity, and it's not a huge commitment. It's really just when you can serve, you know that there are opportunities available through those serve groups. Next is our breakout groups. Breakout groups are a unique thing for our freshmen once again. So it is another group that you'll be with other freshman students. The intention for our breakout groups is to help students in the transition from high school to college. We know it can be very overwhelming. So we want to do our best to help in that transition. So within your breakout groups, you will take some core freshman classes all together. You'll have group projects together, all that good stuff. And that's to help learn the college learning skills, study group type things. So breakout groups are a wonderful thing. And you also have a faculty mentor with your breakout group, as well as a student mentor. And they are truly there to help you out in that transition as well. Intramurals are a big part of campus as well. So intramurals happen, they have different seasons throughout the year. So we'll have basketball, dodgeball, softball, all that good stuff. So it's really fun for our students to be able to get out of the dorm and academic type lifestyle and go compete against their dorm and classmates. So intramurals are a big part of campus, as well as our Winona Lake community. We're very blessed with our location. So we do a lot of events down in the Winona Lake community. There's a public beach area, what we call the Village, which has different shops and restaurants. And it's maybe a 2-minute walk from campus, if that. So it's really right in our backyard. And we do a lot of events, as I mentioned, in the beautiful little lake town behind us. Go Encounter trips are another unique thing for our Grace students. So we actually require our Grace students to do some sort of cross-cultural trip throughout their 3 or 4 years here at Grace. It gives students the opportunity to get out of their comfort zone a little bit and go encounter a different culture than they are not used to. So some of the locations are listed there, like England, Hong Kong, Israel. There's also Fiji, Nicaragua, Romania. So lots of really, really cool locations that our students have the opportunity to travel to. These are more short-term mission trips, so about a week, week and a half, sometimes 2-week-long trips, depending. And they go out over spring or summer break, so students aren't necessarily missing any class time, but it is a requirement, as I mentioned. So our students do have that opportunity if they'd like to go encounter a different culture. Now talking more into the fun stuff with affordability and financial aid. So what I'm going to mention is some things that Grace has done over the years to try and help out financially for families. We know that a private Christian college can be, at first, it can seem very expensive and overwhelming. And Grace doesn't want that to be the factor of why a student wouldn't be able to attend. So we've tried to do small things you could say along the way to help out, hopefully in the long run. So starting out, we have what's called locked tuition. So you would come in your freshman year, your tuition will stay exactly the same each year you come back to Grace. So at first, it sounds okay, but truthfully, by the time your senior year rolls around, you're saving a good chunk of money because your tuition will stay the same as what it was your freshman year. Next, we have some accelerated options. So we have an option to where our students can get their bachelor's degree in 3 years rather than the traditional 4 years. This is huge. The main difference between a 3 and a 4-year program is that students take 2 online summer courses. So since they're online, you don't have to live on campus year round. or do anything extra necessarily. You will just take those 2 online summer courses, and that's how you're able to fit it all at an accelerated pace. You don't need to have any dual credits or any other credits coming in order to do the accelerated program. You truly can start fresh and be able to finish out your degree in 3 years. All majors allow for this except for nursing and engineering. Those are still traditional full 4-year degree, but all other degrees at Grace can be completed in 3 years. We offer a bachelor and master's degrees in 4 years total. This is huge. A traditional route for that can take a full 6 years, but at Grace we have some master degrees that students can complete in 4 years. And if you are interested in that, we do have more information on our website. I'll mention our textbook fee. So we have a unique option for our students. We have what we call a comprehensive textbook fee. It's $250. It goes towards your student account, but then we cover, or no, you $250, but then it covers all your textbooks for the whole year. So you will pay essentially the cost of one book, but then we'll cover all of your books. So that is another huge thing and a wonderful option for students financially. I'll briefly mention some scholarships. So the only one I'm going to mention first off is our Merit Scholarship. This is the initial scholarship that you will receive based off of your acceptance to Grace. So we base it off of your high school GPA. You can find your GPA and then slide across to match it up with the scholarship you'd receive per year. There is a handful of other scholarships that could be attached and stacked on top, and that is more heavily based off of the FAFSA information. I won't go into all those details today, but just know that this would be the initial scholarship, but most definitely not the last one you'll receive as a Grace student. Here are some sports that we do offer. So we offer both varsity and JV options for our students, and there is scholarship opportunities for both, just so you are aware of that, but lots of different options athletically for our students. Some quick fast facts for you guys. Feel free to read through these, but I touched on most of them with the majors, sports. One thing I'll also mention is we have a free online application on our website, and you would get your admissions decision within 2 weeks. So it's a really quick and easy process for our students. And that was that. So I'm going to pass it over to Pam, and then we can open it up for questions if there are any.
Thanks, Kiana.
You're welcome.
Your enthusiasm for the main campus just spills over to Akron, because we love being a part of the original family, and we try to emulate anything that we can in Akron, Ohio. So the big difference between the main campus and our campus in Akron is you have 90+ majors, we have 1. So it really is a small target audience, but we are the best for that target audience. There isn't a comparable academic experience around that someone can go to if they're interested in biblical studies. We have an undergrad program, a Bachelor of Science in Biblical Studies, that would prepare an individual to be in a church environment, whether it's a director, a pastor, or in administration. So you look at the church as a whole and all of those positions, you have a foundation to be prepared to serve in ministry. So our program is designed somewhat like a technical school in the sense that we are very hands-on oriented. You talked about one of your small groups that's called Serve. Well, that's really the spirit of when somebody comes to the Akron location, because serving while you're learning is one of our pillars of foundation for why we've developed the program the way that we have. We want students to not only read the Bible front to back 2 times in their 4 years of education, we want them to live the Bible. We want them to know how to apply it in relevant ways to situations that are happening today, like the pandemic. You can be assured that this is going to be a case study in the future years, because our students are learning how do you adapt to serving your community when everything is shut down. when there's such a fear environment around. But we have adapted and we've learned a lot from it, and we count it as a blessing to be able to be flexible and to serve our community in the way that they need it. So our students go all year round. We have summer sessions 3 of the 4 years, and they would join in with a small cohort group. So we're talking about anywhere from 12 to 20 students in a class. And that's an advantage to our location because we are small and we have the opportunity to build intimate, vulnerable relationships. So that mentoring component happens very naturally because the environment is conducive to it. And it helps because you get to know your peers very well because you're going through the program with them simultaneously, and those bonds develop. Speaking of the instructors, many of our instructors are practitioners, which means they have started a church campus, they are currently a pastor, or they have pastoral experience. We like that. It's kind of a prerequisite because we want our pastors to speak from firsthand experience, and preferably we want them to talk about the conversation they had with the family or students just last week, so that what the students are learning is relevant, it's timely, and it's easily applicable to the situation when they come out from graduation. So our program is unique in that we are raising up leaders for the future. It is narrow in the sense that we only offer one program, but it is designed to make you feel confident and equipped when you step out of our program to step into ministry. So if you are called to ministry, if that's where you're being tugged, then seriously consider the Akron location because of its size. The academics are of the same quality because the curriculum that we get is from the main campus. So you're getting the same core classes. So in terms of accreditation, we mirror the main campus and we are in partnership that way. Now, another unique component of this Akron program is that we are in partnership with Grace Church of Greater Akron. And there are 9 campuses by which a student who would apply for an internship with the church, and if they were selected and given one, they would get hands-on experience at the same time they're doing their academics. So for 25 to 30 hours a week, that student would work in one of those campuses in their area of ministry and receive a compensation, a stipend. Now, if they chose to put that stipend towards their tuition, it would virtually be a wash because that would equal the cost of the tuition. And then they don't have room and board to pay for because we don't have a campus with residential learning and dorms. So they would likely get a part-time job, or their financial aid or student loan would cover those living expenses that they would have. Now, speaking of where's a person going to live if they go to school in Akron? Well, many of our students are local, so they're continuing to stay with their parents or family or friends. But we do, to the best of our ability, have housing options available for students who are coming from out of state or a further than a drive away city. We have some houses that community members from our church own, and there are rooms for rent. So I can connect you with those landlords that have rooms that are available. So it's very much the same apartment style experience that a student would receive. Now, we also have chapel, just not with the frequency that the main campus has. In fact, it's more likely once per semester. And the unique thing about it is, well, it's not unique or different than Maine because your students run your chapel. Same for ours. So they're going to offer the message, they're going to do the worship, and they're going to facilitate the experience, which is lovely because I just love that you're learning while you go to school. And that's the best benefit of it. So in terms of tuition, the cost of 4 years is just under $41,000. So that is certainly an economical option for someone who's not looking to come out with a lot of student loan debt, who would like to pay as they go, or be able to step into ministry without having the commitment of the financial barrier. So that's a plus for the Akron location. So if you are considering going into ministry, then please consider Akron, Ohio, one of your options. And likewise, our application is very easy to access and takes only a few minutes. And then you will have your decision within 2 weeks regarding acceptability. And then the deposit for after acceptance is only $50. So I think that about covers everything. You have two wonderful choices here with Grace College. You really can't lose either way. What makes us unique is if you're going into ministry, please do consider the Akron location because it's so customized for that. But every other interest of study, you've got your best place there in Indiana.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you, Pam. And I think that concludes our presentation. I'm going to flash my contact information one more time. So for students who do have questions, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help out any way that we can. So my email and phone number are listed there. And I can also get you connected with Pam. So even if you reach out to me with Akron questions, I most definitely can pass them on to Pam. I am happy to do so. But thank you again for joining us.
Yes, thank you so very much.
All right. Well, thank you again for presenting this excellent information for us. And just a couple of reminders for our attendees. There's when you close the spindle, there's going to be a quick force question survey. We would greatly appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Again, this is also just one of many sessions that's being hosted, so be sure to check out the schedule and attend more at oacac.org. And then one final reminder that this recording will be available within about a week at that same site. Again, that's oacac.org. So thank you again for our presenters from Grace College, and we will be seeing you. Have a great one, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.